Hello everyone, I am Pooja Shah from RP Center and I will be talking about a case of perifoveal exudative vascular anomalous complex. A 56-year-old male presented to our OPD with chief complaints of metamorphopsia and blurring of vision in the right eye, and there was no systemic illness. On examination, the visual acuity in the right eye was 6/9 and left eye was 6/6 with both eye normal anterior segment examination. On fundus evaluation, right eye had macular edema with few hard exudates at the posterior pole and no other retinal abnormality. On a OCT examination, we could identify that there was a large cystic space involving the center of the fovea. There were few hyperreflective inner retinal foci corresponding with the clinical hard exudates. And there was a round hyporeflective lesion which had a dark lumen, which was predominantly in the inner nuclear layer. And there was no CNVM and there was no neurosensory detachment. On fluorescein angiography, we could find out that in early phase, there was a hyperfluorescent lesion and the hyperfluorescence had increased in size with surrounding leak. It was a unifocal lesion and there was no other retinal or choroidal vascular abnormality. On OCT angiography, we could identify that the superficial retinal plexus is normal and this lesion had flow signal in the deep capillary plexus and there was shadowing beneath that lesion at the level of choriocapillaries. And there was no anastomosis of this lesion with the choriocapillaries or with the adjacent retinal vasculature. In fact, there was perilesional rarefication of the capillaries. So what are the differentials for such a presentation? Our patient is a young patient, so first differential could have been macular telangiectasia. However, it would have involved capillary, venular and arteriolar circulation. It would involve superficial and deep plexus. Could be unilateral or bilateral. Other differential which you could think was retinal angiomatous proliferation. A stage 1 RAP would have an intraretinal neovascularization which could mimic, but it usually has an associated perilesional telangiectasia and it responds very well to anti-VEGF therapy. The third differential which we could think was retinal artery macroaneurysm, but it is usually in the first 3 orders of the retinal arterioles and it would usually be in an elderly hypertensive female, and it can be in 3 forms. Either it can be quiescent or it can be hemorrhagic, wherein it can be present with multi-layered hemorrhages, or it can be exudative. The fourth differential was perifoveal exudative vascular anomalous complex, which was this patient. And it is important to know this entity because it is unresponsive to anti-VEGF injection. This patient was kept on regular follow-up and patient had unchanged visual acuity for 20 months. So what is perifoveal exudative vascular anomalous complex? It is usually unilateral. It can have 1 or 2 capillary aneurysm. Age range is variable. The largest series reported by Yanuzzi of 15 patients reported the maximum age of 90 years. It can be present in healthy patients without any retinal vascular disease, or it can be associated with neovascular AMD, retinal angiomatous proliferation also, myopic macular degeneration, and even it is reported in association with diabetic retinopathy. CME causes vision loss. Etiology, however, is not known. The hypothesis is that it is focal and progressive endothelial cell injury resulting in unresponsiveness to anti-VEGF injection. Treatment of this exudation is not known. Some case reports have reported spontaneous improvement also. Thank you.
I think a very nice presentation. Usually we tend to see this sort of a case within diabetic patients and it becomes a bit dicey. But I think the Anirudh can help us with the OCTA findings of this particular thing, which can actually differentiate from other pathologies where OCTA, Octa for PVAC. Anything specific?
This case is, I think, very classic. The appearance intraretinal with a very thick border and no associated abnormalities such as no other microaneurysms or because classically PVAC when it was described was when there was no associated retinal pathology like in this case. But now people have expanded the spectrum, and so if you have a patient who's diabetic, so sometimes hyalinized microaneurysms can appear similar.
Yeah,
but now
the bigger ones, like sometimes you have a very big the aneurysms, they look like a PVAC, but
like
actually they are not a PVAC, and that can be picked up on an FA or a this thing. Right.
I think the location is very important.
Very.
I think also the intraretinal location of these.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pooja. We'll now